Chapter 7. The sun had set and the moon was just beginning to rise in the sky when Ma and Ba returned home from the fields. Even though they could smell the steam from the rice cooking, they noticed the house was strangely dark and quiet. "Why is Minli sitting in the darkness?" Ma wondered as they approached the house. "Perhaps she is sad about giving up a goldfish," Ba said as he shook his head. "Can our fortune be any poorer?" Ma sighed. "We cannot even feed a goldfish for our daughter." But as Minli's parents entered the house and read her note, Ma made a noise like a shrieking cat. "I spoke too soon," Ma cried. "Our fortune is now the worst, for our only daughter is gone." "Quiet, quiet, wife," Ba hushed her. "If we move quickly, we can find her and bring her back home." Ba hurriedly took out his cloth sack and gathered blankets and filled an empty bottle with water. "She has had almost half a day to travel ahead," he said. "It might take us some time to find her." Ma watched him and then began to pack the cooked rice into a traveling box. But she continued to weep. "It is all the stories you told her," Ma sobbed. "She believed them and now is looking for fairy tales." Her words cut into Ba like slices of a knife, but, even though his face was pained, he said nothing and continued to pack. His hands trembled as he tied the bag closed, but they were gentle when he put them on Ma's shoulder. "Let us go," he said. As they left the house, many of their neighbors poked out their heads and out their doors. They had heard Ma's scream through the thin walls of their closely spaced houses and wanted to know what had happened. When Ma and Ba told them, it seemed as if the whole village poured out from their homes. "Never-ending mountain, the old man of the moon, changing your fortune," the neighbor said. "You better go find her, or else she will never return. Foolish Minli, she is trying to do the impossible." Each villager pointed and nodded toward the direction they had seen Minli last. Some had seen her heading home, others toward the rice fields. But finally, a small boy was heard. "Minli left toward Fruitless Mountain," he said. "I saw her with her pack. She went that way." So with the villagers waving them goodbye, Ma and Ba walked toward Fruitless Mountain, their dark shadows trailing behind them in the moonlight. But when they reached the mountain, they looked at each other uncertainly. "Where did she go from here?" Ba wondered, and he lit the lantern in his hand. The soft light seemed to warm the air and soften the growing darkness. "Here!" Ma cried out, pointing to the ground. "There are footprints going toward the woods. Maybe they are Minli's." Ba looked at the footprints. There was another mark accompanying them, a long pulling line. Ba pointed at them. "But what is that?" he wondered. "Maybe Minli was dragging a walking stick," Ma said. "The footprints could be hers." Ba looked again at the footprints. They seemed small and nimble. "Perhaps they are," Ba said. "Let us follow them." And so they did. Chapter 8. Minli woke up when the sun was high in the sky and burning with light. Even in the shade of the forest, Minli's black head burned hot. As she woke up, she looked at her jug of water. Since she had used some of it for her compass and had drunk some during the night walk, it was only half full. She sipped it and tried not to think about Ma and Ba finding her note. "I hope they understand," Minli said to herself, shifting the weight of the water jug on her shoulders uncomfortably. Minli walked west again. A couple of moments later, she sipped her jug again. She tried to drink sparingly, but even through the leaves of the trees, the yellow sun glared down at her. Soon her empty jug was bouncing against her arm when she heard a faint noise running through the trees. "That's water trickling," she said to herself as she turned around toward the sound. "There's water here somewhere." Soon she noticed a small stream, running with clear, sparkling water. She eagerly bent down to drink and fill her jug, but as soon as Minli tasted the water, she spit it out. "Salt water!" Minli exclaimed. "This water is salty." As she sat back, Minli began to wonder, "How is this stream salty? I am far from the ocean. This is very strange." And unable to contain her curiosity, Minli forgot about her thirst and began to follow it. The stream widened and deepened, becoming more of a river than a stream. Just as Minli began to think that she should return to her journey, she began to hear deep moans that gently shook the earth. "Who's there?" Minli shouted. "Help!" a muffled voice whimpered. "Can you help me?" "I'm coming!" Minli called. She quickly put down her compass on the side of the water and waded in. The water was warm like bath water and clear as glass. Minli could see her feet and all the stones and leaves at the bottom of the stream. As she moved toward the voice, the water rose higher and higher, to her knees and then almost to her neck. "Are you still there?" the voice asked plaintively. "Please come help me." "I'm coming," Minli called again. She took a deep breath and dove toward the voice. The salt water stung her eyes, so she closed them tightly until she broke through the surface. When she finally opened her eyes, Minli almost sank back under water with shock, because there in front of her was a dragon. Chapter 9. Underneath the moon shadows of the trees, Ma stumbled with weariness. Ba did not know how long they had been walking. With every step he peered at the ground, the light flickering as the lantern swayed in his hand. The forest was full of shapes and shadows, and only barely could he see the faint footprints on the ground. It was like searching for a wrinkle in a flower petal. As Ma tripped, he steadied her with his arm. "We should rest," Ba said. Ma shook her head and pulled away angrily. "We must keep going. We have to find Minli." "But you are tired," Ba said, "and I am too. We can rest afterward. We will be able to continue faster." "I am not tired," Ma said fiercely. Her irritation seemed to give her energy. "If you are tired, you can rest, but I will continue to look for our daughter." "We should stay together," Ba said quietly. "If you wish to stay with me," Ma said, "then you will have to keep going." Ba sighed and took out another candle for the lantern. The light from the lamp kept away the forest animals, but it could do nothing for Ma's fury. Her resentment seemed to darken with the fading moon. But as they walked, the morning bloomed in the distance. Its light slowly filtered over Ma and Ba through the veil of tree branches, so he could finally blow out the candle in his lantern. He looked at Ma and could see that her bitterness was only sharper in the softening sky. "If Minli stopped to rest," Ba said, "we may catch up with her soon." "When we find her," Ma said, "we must know that she is never to do this again." Or she must know. "Never." "Now, wife," Ba said, "Minli did not leave us to cause harm." "No," Ma said, her words cracking the air around her. "She left to find a fairy tale, never-ending mountain, and the old man of the moon. Of all the foolish things." "Stories are not foolish," Ba said again, in his quiet way. "Says you," Ma said, "because you are the one who filled her with them, making her believe she could change our miserable fortune with an impossible story. Ridiculous." "Yes," Ba said sadly, "it is impossible, but it is not ridiculous." Ma opened her mouth again, but stopped, for up ahead there was a noise of breaking branches. It was the sound of someone pushing their way through the forest. Ma and Ba looked at each other. "Minli," Ma said. Forgetting their fatigue and frustration, Ma and Ba began to run through the woods. Ma ignored the branches that scratched her, and Ba let his hat fall to the ground as they rushed toward the unseen person. "Minli!" they called. "Minli!" But as they burst upon the figure ahead, they stopped in shock. It was not Minli. Instead, Ma and Ba stared open-mouthed at the Goldfish man. Chapter 10. Minli gaped at the dragon in front of her. It was brilliant red, the color of a lucky lantern, with emerald green whiskers, horns, and a dull stone-colored ball like the moon on his head. At least, what Minli could see of him looked like that, because he was also half covered by ropes of twine that had been tied tightly around him, so he couldn't move, and by the silvery lake of water his tears had formed all around him. Oh, so the water was from his tears, the salty lake. Minli had always thought it would be thrilling but scary to meet a dragon. Her father's stories always made them sound so wise and powerful and grand, but here was a dragon before her, tied up and crying. Minli didn't feel awed by it at all. In fact, she felt rather sorry for it. "Can you help me?" the dragon sniffled. "I am trapped." Minli shook herself and started swimming toward the dragon. "What happened to you?" she asked. "The monkeys tied me up while I was sleeping," the dragon said. "I have been here for days." Minli swam over to the dragon and climbed onto his back to get out of the water. There she opened her pack, took out the small sharp knife that she had brought with her, and started cutting the twine. "Why did the monkeys tie you up?" Minli asked. "Because I want to go farther into the forest, to the peach grove," the dragon said, "and the monkeys will not let anyone through. I have been trying to make them let me pass peacefully for days, but they are so unreasonable. Finally, I told them that if they did not let me through, I would just force my way. They know I am big and strong enough to go through without their permission, so when I went to sleep, they tied me up." "Why won't the monkeys let anyone pass?" Minli asked. "Because they are greedy things," the dragon said. "They have just discovered the peach trees that make up the next part of the forest. The monkeys do not want to let anyone through because they do not want to share the peaches. Even when I promised not to touch any of the fruit, they would not let me through. They do not even want to share the sight of those peaches." "Why do you have to go through the forest?" Minli asked. "Can't you just fly over?" More tears, the size of lychee nuts, rolled down the dragon's face. "I cannot fly," he sobbed. "I do not know why. All other dragons fly, but I cannot. I wish I knew why." "Don't cry," Minli said, patting the dragon, feeling more sorry for it than ever. "I'm going to Never-Ending Mountain to see the old man of the moon and ask him how to change my family's fortune. You can come too. and ask him how to fly." "You know where Never-Ending Mountain is?" the dragon asked. "I thought to see the old man of the moon was I thought to see the old man of the moon was impossible. You must be very wise to know how to find him." "Not really," Minli said. "I got the directions from a goldfish." Chapter 11. It took a long time for Minli to cut all the twine rope that bound the dragon. For some knots, she had to swim under the water and cut through the waving grasses. As she popped in and out of the water, cutting, she told the dragon all about her village, the goldfish, and how she had just started her journey. "I'm Minli," she said to the dragon. "What's your name?" "Name?" the dragon asked slowly. "I do not think I have a name." "Everyone has a name," Minli said. "When you were born, didn't someone give you a name?" "When I was born?" the dragon asked, thinking hard. "Yes," Minli said, thinking that this dragon was very different from any dragon she had ever heard about. "What did they call you when you were born?" And here we have the story of the dragon, and this is the dragon telling this story. "When I was born, I remember two voices speaking. 'Master,' one voice said, 'this is magnificent. The dragon is almost alive.' 'Add more water to the inkstone,' another voice said. This voice was near my head. I felt the warm air of his breath, and speak quietly. 'You will wake the dragon.' 'I am sorry, master,' the first voice said, in a more subdued tone. 'It is only that this painting is most amazing, even for such a skilled artist as you. This dragon painting will bring great honor to the village when we present it to the magistrate.' 'Wasted on the magistrate,' the master said under his breath, so softly that only I could hear. 'A conceited, self-important man who, when only the imperial family is allowed to use the image of a dragon, commissions one. Now that his son has married the king's daughter, Magistrate Tiger will do anything to flaunt his power and overstretch his authority. But this painting will buy his favor and free the village from his unfair taxes.'" So they're talking about the magistrate. Remember Magistrate Tiger, whose son married the adopted daughter of the king, and so so Magistrate Tiger has asked this painter, is paying this painter to paint a painting of a dragon, and apparently only the imperial family, the royal family, can use the image of a dragon. Okay, and so they're like, we're going to gain favor from Magistrate Tiger because this is such a great painting that he ordered. "What, master?" the apprentice asked. "Nothing," the master said, "only that I have painted the dragon on the ground, not flying in the sky like all other dragons. Perhaps the magistrate will see how his wealth weighs him down." "I doubt the magistrate will understand that meaning, master," the apprentice said. "True," the master said, "but the dragon should still please him. I will prepare for his visit. The painting is finished. Clean the brushes and take great care with my special inkstone. It is one of a kind, the only inkstone that was able to be made from a rock my master cut from a mountain far from here. He never told anyone which mountain, so we can never make another." "Yes, master," the apprentice said. "But the dragon—" "Yes," the master said. "Is it finished?" the apprentice asked. "You have not painted the eyes." "As a painting, it is finished," the master said. "Young apprentice, I still have much to teach you." And I heard the voices and footsteps fade away. It was a strange feeling. I felt the warm light of the sun running over my skin, but the arms and legs were frozen. I could hear the wind rustling leaves in the trees and birds hopping on the ground, but I saw nothing. So he's in the painting, right? He's the dragon that they painted. Time passed. I only knew because the air grew colder. I heard footsteps coming toward me, many of them, so I knew it was a whole procession of people. "As you requested, your magnificence," a voice said. "I recognized it as the master's. May I present this, which I humbly painted in tribute to the great magistrate's rule?" There was a silence as all gazed, I supposed, at me. "Painter Chen," another voice said in a great awe, "this is indeed a great work." "Thank you, magistrate," the master said. "I am glad it pleases you. Then our agreement will be fulfilled?" "Yes," said the voice. "The village will be free from taxation for the next year, and I will take the painting." Even though I did not know exactly what was going on, I knew I did not want to belong to the magistrate Tiger. His voice had an undertone of cruelty and greed, and even while he was expressing his pleasure, I tried to protest, but still my lips uttered no sound. Then I was rolled up, and all sound and feeling disappeared. I do not know how long I was rolled up. It might have been a day or a month or a year. All I could do was wait, but finally I was unrolled, and I felt a cold gust of air all over me. If I could have, I would have shivered. "This painting is a masterpiece," a voice said in surprise. Then it quickly turned oily and flattering, "as only fitting for your greatness." Yes, Magistrate Tiger said. Have it hung behind my chair. Yes, Magistrate, the voice said, and then hesitated, and said, How strange. What strange? The magistrate asked. The voice said, there are no eyes on this dragon. The painter must have forgotten. No eyes? The magistrate boomed. Painter Chen dared give me an unfinished painting. I will double tax his village for the next 10 years. Magistrate, a third voice said, one that seemed a little kinder. It is only a mere minor flaw. If we just dotted in the eyes, the dragon would be finished. Yes, the magistrate said, obviously considering. Bring me a paintbrush and ink. I heard the servants shuffling and bringing the paintbrush and ink. I felt the magistrate's hot, dry breath on my nose as he came close to me and felt the cold ink touch my eye, and suddenly I could see. I saw the magistrate's fat face leering over me as he reached over and dotted in my other eye. As sight came into both my eyes, a warm feeling filled me, like drinking hot tea on a cold day. I felt strength come into my arms and hands and legs and feet, and my neck and head stretched for the first time. All the loud yells I had wanted to make now came rushing out of my mouth, and I gave a huge roar that made the magistrate fall over. It has come alive! I heard him gasp, and I heard the servants screaming, Dragon! It has come alive! Dragon! I knew this was my chance to free myself from Magistrate Tiger. I jumped from where I was and rushed over everyone, knocking down desks and chairs and columns. I saw the blue sky and green leaves through a window, went toward it, and simply crashed through the wall to get through. As I left, the building was falling down and all the people were yelling, Dragon! They screamed, Dragon! I knew I had to leave as soon as possible, so I ran as fast as I could into the forest and left them far, far away. I have lived in the forest since then. So I think, the dragon said, my name is Dragon, because that is what everyone called me. Dragon, Minli repeated, and she tried not to smile. Well, I guess it is a good enough name. It will be easy for me to remember. The dragon nodded, pleased to have found himself a name. So you were born from a painting, Minli said. That explains why you are so different from the dragons my father told me about. Your father knew other dragons? The dragon asked, eagerly. I have never seen another dragon. I always thought if I could fly, I would finally see another like me. Well, Minli said, I don't think my father ever knew any dragons. He just told me stories about them. Most people think dragons are just stories. You are the only dragon I've ever met. Oh, the dragon said sadly, and I am not even a real dragon. All this time, Minli had been cutting the twine ropes. At that very moment, Minli cut the last rope and rubbed the dragon's arm. You're the only dragon I've ever met in real life, she said, and you feel real to me, so I think you are a real dragon, or at least real enough. Anyway, if we're going to Never-Ending Mountain together, let's at least be real friends. Yes, the dragon agreed, and they both smiled.